Hey everybody, welcome back to Here Pal Here. My name is Pal. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a quick video explaining how I secure and wind my strings. I use this for all my guitars. Works great on steel string acoustic, this 3 on a side style, as well as the 6 in a row. 6 inline tuners, works well with everything. I think it's a lot nicer and easier to use than just about any other method I've seen. I learned this from my really good friend a long time ago, and I've been using it ever since, so probably over 20 years. Works great, makes a nice little neat bunch like this. You can lop off the excess, it won't get stuck in your gig bags or cleaning rags or anything like that. This guitar is due for string change. I've already lost one here, so gonna be taking off the strings, lightly oiling the fingerboard, and then I'll show you guys how I end up with this neat little string pile here. So stick with me and I'll show you guys exactly how I do it. Just as a quick pro tip, I would say it's a good idea to not try and drag your strings back through your bridge or stop tail piece with these curly and sharp bits. What I'd like to do is just come in with my pliers and I just snip them off kind of right near the end, so that what I'm pulling back through is just a nice clean and not jagged piece like this, and it'll just go through nice and smoothly. So that's just an easy thing you can do. I've cleaned off the fretboard, got the first string ready to go. What you want to do is kind of snug it up, just hand pull it this way, so you don't have any slack from the backside. And what you want to do is get roughly 2 pegs worth ahead, grab it here. So that's about the distance you want, maybe even a little bit back on the bass strings, because they are so thick that they take up a lot of space when they're being wound up. With some of the thinner strings you have more leeway, but with the bass ones I find you want to keep it relatively short because they take up so much space. So I'll go just a little bit back from here. Don't want to make it too short, but this should be good. The other thing is that I like to do is I like to turn the tuning peg so that the hole is kind of going along the length of the neck. Just makes it easier for what I'm about to do. So I just kind of make it go about there, maybe even a little bit past, but that's about what I'm going for. And what I want to do is get the string through, but I want to make note of that distance. So again, this is about as far as I want to go, right here where my finger is. This is how far I'm going to stick it through the tuning peg here. I'm going to keep where my finger is, and what I'm going to do is just bend up on the other side. Just bend it straight up, and that's pretty much it right there. Okay, so it's just gone through, I bent it up, and now what I'm going to do is use my thumb. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Use my thumb to kind of hold that in place, and I'm going to use my pointing finger to kind of hold it in place on this other side, and eventually it's going to start kind of bending along the tuning peg. So I'm going to start turning. It's a little bit challenging to do this so you guys can see it too, but I'm turning the peg and holding the string with my first finger, pressing in against the tuning peg. Wish I had a better angle for this to show you guys, but let me just put it down for a second so you can see it. Hopefully you can see that the string is kind of gone, this part is still vertical, and then it's starting to wrap around, and I'm keeping tightness on there with my finger, with the thumb here and the first finger kind of pressing the string against the tuning peg. And what you want to do is also kind of press so that it's down, so that the first wrap is always kind of at the bottom, and then the other subsequent wraps are going to be kind of coming up on the tuning peg as we go. So you'll see as we go along how this will work. I don't usually use a string winder. That's also one of the benefits of doing this, I find, is that it really goes pretty quick. This is kind of going slow, obviously, because I'm trying to show you guys, but you can usually change these super quick. I don't need a string winder because you're not winding like a ridiculous amount of string. So it goes pretty quickly. can see some of the strings, some of the wraps are already looking good. I'm gonna just try and take this off the camera so I can do it a little bit faster. Okay, so that's it. And now you can see that you got a nice little set of wines there, and it's already on there. So it's really easy. It's kind of harder to demonstrate it than it is to actually do it. And what you get is a really simple way. There's no knot, there's no complicated, anything to take the string on or off. And it's just a really simple, nice, elegant way. And then I come back in when I'm fully done and everything's tuned up to pitch and everything's good. Come back in with my clippers, and I just clip really close to the end right here. And I'm going to show you guys as I put some more strings on, once they're all ready, and then I'll show you how I just snip them at the end. So you can now see I've got the second one on, looking pretty nice as well. And just a quick word about the order. I like to go on these three on the side. I like to go from the low E to the D, and then on the other side I like to do the same. I go from the E back to the G. So I'll do this one, this one, this one, and then I go this one, this one, this one. It just makes it easier usually just for the spacing and for your fingers and stuff. You can do it the other way, but the lower strings, like if you're trying to do it from the top going down, your strings are going to be in the way of your fingers holding this properly and comfortably. So that's all I'm saying is kind of best to go in this order. And if you go on the 6 in the line tuners, then I always start with the low string and I go to the high string. So that's the general direction. So let me get the other ones on, and then I'll show you guys how I snip them off. So I just put the high E on, as you can see. And a quick note about this is that the kind of finger that you use to keep the string kind of taut against the peg changes here. So instead of using your index finger, your pointing finger to hold it, you end up kind of holding your thumb, and your index finger holds that string that's pulled through, vertical, and then you kind of pinch with your thumb. So it's just the reverse of what you did before, but it's only because of the way the angle is, because it's on the bottom of the headstock. So I just thought I'd mention that, and I'm going to do the last two and show you guys when it's done. So that is it. Got all the strings on there, and just want to show it to you guys really quick. You can see all the wines are nice and tidy, and yeah, it's really simple, really easy to do. Does not require any kind of complicated knots to be tied or anything like that. And also the other benefit that I found is that when changing strings, it's really simple to take them off too. So there's no strings stuck at the end and all this kind of stuff. Tuning stability has never been a problem with this method for me. It's totally fine once you get the the initial slack worked out of the system. Give the strings a good stretch, and as per normal, and then you're good to go. It's pretty much really easy, really stable, really good system. I really like it. And all I do to kind of tidy it up and trim it up is that I do clip the wires, and I do tend to cut them pretty close, as close as I can, really, without kind of doing any harm. So just kind of go in as close as I can. Make sure you don't clip the string below. And that's it. Now you got a nice tidy headstock, and everything's looking good. Very simple, very easy. I have yet to see anything easier. If somebody knows of a better way, let me know. I think a lot of tuners, like the Fender style, where you just put the string right in and then it just wraps around, that is pretty much almost the same thing as this, except here you have the slight disadvantage of having a little bit of a stubble sticking out at the end. But if you cut it close enough, it shouldn't really catch on anything, and it's not a problem. But just something additionally nice about those kind of slotted tuners. But I actually don't have any on any of my guitars. I think my bass has that, but pretty much never changed the strings on that. So that's pretty much it. So that's it, guys. If you want to see more information about this guitar, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos about it. I'm currently fixing it up. I'm going to be doing some changes to the wiring. I've got one video talking about it already. Check that out. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more things about it. I'll definitely be doing a proper review of this guitar and demoing sounds from it and all this kind of stuff. I love this guitar. One of my all-time favorites, definitely probably the favorite that I own. Yamaha SPG 2000. It's a great guitar, super awesome. But yeah, like I say, this tuning is not a problem. Tuning stability is great, neat and tidy, easy to do. Don't really need any kind of fancy knots or anything that people tend to do. I have no idea why people would prefer that over this. I don't think you really gain much from doing it any of the other ways. If somebody knows a better way, please do let me know. But as far as just ease of use and tuning stability, I've never had issues with this problem. Once the strings are kind of properly stretched out and been tuned a couple times, you're good to go. And I've had no issues with this. So hopefully that's helpful to you. If anything, like I say, do a little bit less than 2 peg lengths, because especially with the fatter strings, it can get a little bit unwieldy if you get too many wraps. But yeah, just a little bit shy of 2 is a good rule of thumb. And yeah, you just get a good, easy to use winding and good tuning stability. So let me know if you guys liked it, and yeah, please do subscribe if you're not signed up to my channel yet, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Thanks.